Good morning. Welcome back to the barn kitchen. Today I'm making applesauce from the balance of the apples from my tree. And I'm doing it the lazy way. I've peeled enough apples this year. I don't want to peel anymore, so I am making applesauce without peeling them. What I've done to get started is I've taken all the apples that I've got left over. There's a good sized pot here. Cut them up into halves or quarters depending on their size. Add a little water to the bottom of the pan and put them on the stove to cook. And this is the first thing that you do. This is probably the most time consuming. And so what I've got to do now is cook these apples down to where they're soft and mushy, and then I'll strain them and remove the cores and the peelings that I've still got attached, and then take it from there. So I'm going to let these cook for a while, and then we will move on to the next step. But this is a great way to do it if you don't want to peel apples. Just wanted to show you here the apples have been cooking for about 20 minutes. They're getting close to being done. Got a few more in here that still need to soften up, but stir it from time to time so that it doesn't stick. And you can see already it looks like bits of applesauce forming in the pan, but I got a few more that I can tell by touching them with my spoon are still pretty tough, so I'm going to let it cook for about 10 more minutes, and then we'll take it over to the strainer and start separating the peels from the pulp. Anyway, everything is looking good. Okay, I've got my strainer set up, the apples. So what I'm going to do now is put them into my Squeeze-O strainer. It's going to separate the pulp that's going to go in this green bowl, and then, or the peelings I mean, and then the pulp will come here into this stainless steel bowl. So let's get started and get these done. And I got to let you know this sometimes can be kind of a mess. But anyway, here we go. And I'm just going to proceed. Take a big scoop of this, and it is dripping with the juice. I'm a lefty. Let me try this right-handed so that it doesn't get in everybody's way. Put it in there, and then I'm just going to crank. And it should separate the peelings from the pulp, and I can strain some of that extra juice out of it. I've got a little plunger here that I can use to get it to go down in there. You'll see I'm getting applesauce coming into the bowl. It separates all the seeds, the cores, everything. This is really a handy gadget to have. And you'll notice that the peelings coming out, they're nice and dry. It's got keeps all the juice in with everything. Put in there. And it's going pretty good. Get some more. Just keep the process going till you get it all finished. I use this also to separate my peelings and seeds from tomatoes in the summer when I'm making tomato juice or tomato sauce. Works great. Push them down in there some more. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these done, and then we'll be ready to can. The jars are in the dishwasher getting ready. And I'm not going to add any sugar to this. I'm not going to add any cinnamon to it because I use this basically for baking. So I don't want to add anything to it at all. Looks good. Anyway, I'm going to get these done and we'll go on and can it. Okay, we've got our applesauce here in a pan. Scooped it all up and got it together. I've got my lids that I have been boiling, ready to go for the jars. Jars are hot, refrigerator, and I've got my rims. So everything's here, and as I said in the past, you got to work fast because I want everything to stay hot. I'm using pint jars today, regular mouth pint jars. And so we're going to fill each one of those and get it in the canner while the jars stay nice and hot. You want to leave about a ½ inch of head space, working quickly. You might see some specks of apple peeling left in this, and that's okay. I think it kind of adds to the character and lets you know that this is truly a homemade product. It's certainly not going to hurt it by any means. But for the most part, it looks nice and clear, and this is homemade applesauce. I can finally say the last of the apples are done. So I'm going to get like 3 of these ready to go and get them in the canner. This one needs a little bit more. That one too. Okay. So, as I've said in the past, you want to wipe the rim of the jar, making sure there's nothing left that's going to keep it from sealing. Remove all your air bubbles. And actually I did that backwards. You want to remove all your air bubbles first so you're not having to wipe the rim again. Take a lid that you've had in the boiling water and you're boiling them at least 10 minutes. And sometimes they stick together. Take a lid, take a ring, put it on there and hand tighten only, and then it's ready to go into the canner. Again, remove your air bubbles with your wand. Wipe the rim. Add a lid, a ring, and hand tighten. And I'm going to get the rest of these finished and then we'll get the canner going. They're going to can in a boiling water bath for 20 minutes. Okay, I got all the jars filled. I've got 9 in the canner and I actually ended up with 12, but I don't want to do a separate processing for just 3 jars, so I'm just lidded those up and keep them in the refrigerator, and I'll get them used in the next couple of days. But I've lowered these down into the hot water, and as I've said in the past, you want to make sure that they're covered by at least an inch of water, and I've got a good 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is bring this back to a full rolling boil, and it's got to boil for 20 minutes, and then I'll pull them out. We'll set them off to dry and let them set for 24 hours, and they're done. It's all there is to it. So again, I'm going to cover this, bring it up to a full rolling boil for 20 minutes, and then we'll be taking them out just shortly after that. And so here's our finished product. I have 9 jars of homemade applesauce, no preservatives, no additives of any kind, just fresh apples from my tree. Couldn't have been easier, lots of fun. You didn't have to peel them. If you want to make applesauce quick and easy, I highly recommend doing it this way. Regarding the peelings, here's what I had left over. There's not much from all those apples that I used, and my chickens are going to enjoy these. So again, thanks for tuning in and watching me, and I hope you've enjoyed this segment of Barn Kitchen Basics. Thanks, bye.